subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Leader Spotlight in OP10. This time we're here to talk about Shanks, but I wanted to do something a little bit more different. So everyone's already aware of how to play Shanks, the standard deck. One of the things I really love about a red deck is actually the animal engine, which includes Chopper and all of his little friends. I think they're relatively strong. And you do see the animal engine and some red decks like Zoro, it works out really well. So my question is, can I create a competitive strong deck using the animal engine? And the reason I want to do this, I feel like Shanks has a really amazing mid to late game. But sometimes his early game just feels like you're just waiting and trying to survive until you can get to 10 Dawn and drop those big bodies. So the goal with the animal engine is to have like a fun and strong early to mid game, right? And ensure that you have a great setup so that you go into your late game even stronger than ever. Plus with the animal engine, you can essentially flood the board as well too. So I've been doing a lot of testing. I think this deck is great. Can you win, your locals with this? Sure. Can you take this to the next regional and win? Probably not. Maybe. I do think the original Shanks deck is strong, but this is also strong as well. So if you like variety and you want to try something new and different, like give this a shot. Let me know what you go. But I have like smacked around a lot of the strong meta leaders using this. So let's dive into it. First is, if you're not familiar, Shanks is a red leader, and if you're red, primarily you're going to be very aggro heavy, lots of rush, 5k attack, and 5 life. One of the most annoying abilities from Shanks is once per turn you may activate this effect when your opponent attacks. Give up to one of your opponent's leader minus 1000 power. That is super annoying, especially early game when your opponents are trying to attack you for 5k or 6k. You minus 1000, it makes it really relatively hard. So super straightforward leader, super effective. And if you do pick up Shanks, he was strong in OP09, strong in 10, he's going to be strong in 11. Like Shanks is going to stick around for a long time and continue to be a strong meta leader. So next is going to be our Tony Chopper. I like to run 4 of these. This is a blocker, 3k, 4000 power, 1k counter. And on top of that, if you give him Dawn -2 when attacking, give one of your opponent's characters 3000 power during this turn. This is really amazing, especially if you're trying to like beat down characters that are arrested. Plus the fact that it's a blocker, like why not? And look how cute Cotton Candy Chopper is. So running 4 of these, definitely a must. Next is going to be our standard searcher, Nami. Run 4 of these, 1k counter, 1 cost, 2k power. On play, look at the top 5 cards of every deck, reveal a Straw Hat type character, and essentially bottom deck the rest. So running 4 of these, definitely beneficial. Next is going to be our Rush Zoro, 3 cost, 5000 attack. And I love that he has Rush, so this is what I was talking about. Is there's going to be a good amount of Rush characters in this deck. Early to mid game, really mess your opponents up. As a red deck, you don't want to give your opponents a chance to breed at all. So definitely run 4 of these and watch your opponent panic. Next part of our animal engine is going to be Tony Chopper, 3 cost, 5k attack. This is what essentially helps you flood your board so easily. Your turn on play, when attacking, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and essentially just play an animal type character worth 4000 or less, and bottom deck the rest. So such an easy way to flood the gate, I said. So definitely rock 4 of these. Next is going to be Hiking Bear, super awesome animal, 3k cost, 3k power, and he gives you 2k counter too, which I think is really awesome because this deck definitely does need blockers and counters to survive early to mid game. And Dawn times 1, activate main once per turn. When one of your animal type characters, essentially you give one of your animal type characters 1000 power for the turn, which is super powerful. And again, I mostly use them for 2k counter, but when you pair them with this Chopper right here, it makes this guy super strong. Next is going to be Robinson. This guy is 3 cost, 4000 attack, 1k counter, and the beautiful part, if you add 2 Dons, you get Rush, right? So you add 2 Dons, he's at 6k, he has Rush. You can potentially give him the 1k power from Hiking Bear. Makes him super powerful. So definitely run 4 of these. Next is going to be Silver Rayleighs, 8 cost, 8000 power, one of the most annoying characters out there. On play, choose up to 2 of your opponent's characters, and essentially you give one of the characters 3000, minus 3000, another one minus 2000, and then you KO a character with 3000 or less, And the good thing about this card is this actually goes into your opponent's turn as well too. So if you give a character minus 3,000, minus 2,000, it goes into the next turn, which makes it really annoying to deal with. So definitely rock 4. Next is going to be our big boy Shanks right here. 10 cost, 12k attack. And he has Rush, and he gives all characters minus 1,000. How ridiculous is that? Everyone knows who this character is. Once you get him out, beyond tough to deal with. And then we're going to have Ben Beckman, 7 cost, 7,000 power, 1k counter. And on play, essentially trash a character with 6,000 power or less. The reason why I love to run this card is a lot of characters, if they have on KO abilities, you play this and you trash them. Because it's not KOing them, it's trashing them, you don't activate their effect. Super useful. I like to run about 2 of these. If you want to go up to 4, you definitely can, but I think 2 is more than enough. Next is going to be our new Sanji character, 3 cost, 3,000 attack, 1k counter. Your turn, this character gains 3,000 power. That is ridiculous. And then on KO, draw a card. Really like this card overall. Super strong. Rock 4 for sure. And then we're going to have Tony Chopper, 4 cost, 4,000, 2,000 counter. It's a blocker, which is nice. And during your opponent's turn, this has 2,000 power, which makes him 6k. So kind of hard to get through in terms of blocking. So rock 4 of these. And with that, that's all the blockers in the deck. And that's probably all you're going to need. The last 3 cards we're going to talk about is the new Monkey D. Luffy, 5 cost, 6,000 attack. He gains Rush, and when attacking, give your leader or one of your characters 1 Rested Dawn. You can actually give him the Rested Dawn as well too, making him 7,000. So rock 4 of these, and your opponent will not see it coming. And then we also have 2 of these 0 cost counters, Bad Manners, which essentially you trash 1 card, give one of your leaders or character 2,000 power. I think it's really good for clutch moments. And then trigger is give one of your opponent's leaders or characters 3,000 power for this turn. So super beneficial, very situational. That's why I think you only need 2. And then lastly, we're going to talk about Divine Departure, 1 cost. Activate main, you may rest 5 Dawn and KO up to one of your opponents with 8,000 power or less. This actually synergizes really well with this chopper right here because they're not using original cost, it's what your current attack power is. So if you have 8, 9, 10, 11, so if you have like 11 cost character for whatever reason, you can use chopper, get them down to 8, and just Divine Departure them. And there's a dual ability to this. You can also use a counter up, if you don't want to use the main ability and you're about to get destroyed and you want to use it as a counter, up to one of your leader gains 3,000 power during this battle. Super beneficial. I like to run about 2 of these. And that's the deck overall. It is very reminiscent of what you typically have in a Shanks deck. But the Animal Engine really gives you a strong early game, mid game, gives you a good amount of counters, and just gives you a lot more options to deal with. So I've done really well on the sim. At some point, I probably will take this to locals, but let's get into one game. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to record, this week. So I figured, hey, I'll just get one game in, show people what they think. If you like this deck list and you really like this build, I probably will do a lot more games. But with that, let's get into it and let's see what things look like. I'll catch you guys there. Let's get into our first OP10 match, Shanks versus Boa. Should be quite interesting, and we will actually keep our hand. I think this is good to be. Now that Dofi's been hit hard because of the Jinbei, kind of hit Boa too because Boa used the Jinbei. I'm starting to see a lot more Boas in general, so I think that's definitely a win. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can really put down now, so we'll end our turn. Let our opponent go. I doubt she knows we are running an Animal Engine, so the first animal that comes out, she'll probably be a little shocked, like, oh, what is this? What's going on? But that's the fun of running these little crazy decks sometimes. People just never expect it. Even if we go to locals and try to duke it out, people will kind of be shocked by it. Let's see, do I want to give anything up here? Yeah, let's do that. Let's use their activation here, and then we can just do a 2k counter, which is nice. Boom. This is why Shanks is so hard to deal against, just because how do you deal with that minus 1k? It makes it super duper difficult. So we're actually gonna put down our chopper, get an animal down, which is pretty good for us. Boom. And then let's go for a 6k swing. Get some cards out of our hand. Awesome. Glad she took that. End our turn. And now she's probably like, what the heck? What is a chopper doing out here? I don't think I've ever seen any Shanks use the animal engine. If you play Zoro, sure, I think the Zoro deck can make sense, but I really liked it. I think it does, it makes a lot of sense, and it's actually relatively powerful. Do I want to counter out of this? I probably can easily, so I'll do that, yeah. Boom, go in here. Let's counter out of this. And the reason why we're doing that, we want to float her board, not really give her an opportunity to actually do anything, and just smack her around. So she's obviously searching, doesn't have all the pieces she needs. And I really like this Hiking Bear's ability. Give up to one of your animal type characters other than this character 1,000 power this turn. So I can easily, like, add Dawn to this, power him up, do an attack. He can power up Chopper. Chopper can put down another animal. So it's just like a very vicious cycle. Oh, she got rid of my Ichapa. No, how do you do that to me? So nasty. So the good part here is we can actually put this down, right? We can actually give him Rush, which is great. 3, 4, 5. Well, let's actually do this. Boom. We'll actually go for just one big swing right here. 7k. And then we'll attack with Shanks as well too. Do the 1k. Yep. Get rid of your blocker. That works out for me. Get a card out of your hand there as well too. I personally call that a win, so I'm very happy with that. Awesome. We lost the Bouncing Law, which is always good. Now her hand size is starting to go down. So One Piece is a game of resources. You've heard me say this multiple times. So when you're playing, just try to reduce your opponent's resources as much as possible. This way, they have less options, less they can do. It's nasty for them. So do I want to counter out of this? Probably not. I'll probably let him actually have this. Go ahead, buddy. Yep. Go ahead, take that. I'm still sad I lost my Chopper. God bless his soul somewhere. And he's probably going to bounce up my bear. Yep. Kind of expected, and I have nothing at board, which is not an issue at all, because if we get another Chopper, we can easily flood the board out, so I'm not too concerned about that. Plus, we can also put down Ben Beckman, get rid of this, yeah. She's doing more searching, looking for awesome pieces, hopefully she finds them. Let's get in, we got a Divine Departure, good. We're actually going to put down Ben Beckman, get rid of that, trash it. And then we can actually just come in here as well and just do a 6k swing. Get rid of some more cards in hand. Really whittle down her options. Yep, there we go. End our turn. And then we do have the strong Ben Beckman to start attacking with next turn. And then especially when we get to 10 Dawn, it's going to be a little scary when we start dropping Shanks bodies and whatnot. So they come in. We'll actually use our ability. Do 6, and then we can just 2k out of this. And that's another reason why I also love the animal engine as well too. They're great fodders, if we need to do a bunch of counters to survive. I think it works out well. And of course the Boa Hancock, another blocker, super annoying. We do have our Shanks though, which is quite nice. So I'm gonna put down the Shanks, everyone gets a -1000. Boom, we'll attack. And then I'm gonna attack with Shanks, but more than likely they're just gonna block with this, which I'm perfectly fine with. Yep, go ahead, attack with that. She's gonna simply just block that. I think if she's smart, she'll block it. Yep, there we go. Good. We do have some good counters in hand, so if she really comes for the Shanks. Oh, the Red Rock. Oh man, fun times. I had a feeling something like that was gonna happen. Just because of that, I'm gonna Divine Departure your ass. You know what? We'll actually come in here, use that, get rid of one of these. There you go. Bo is gonna attack. I've been in 5 life for a while, so I'm probably gonna take this. We got another Ben Beckman, which is quite nice. And then next turn, we're just gonna Divine Departure and just KO this. Get this out the way. Got another blocker. Totally understandable. Can they do anything else? Probably not. Do do do. Do do do. Come on, buddy. There's no other moves you can make. Yep, there we go. Thank you for giving this to me. I appreciate. Ooh, I'm actually gonna play Silver Israelis out. This guy is pretty OP. Come in here. Boom, 3,000. Boom. Take out the blocker, which works out relatively well for us. I could keep his Divine Departure around just to like use it for the counter, but I think I'll go in for the attack. 5, 6, 7. We'll actually do some 7k swings here. Boom. And then next turn, we can actually use Ben Beckman to get rid of this, which will be great for us. Come in, boom, do another 7k swing. She's already down to 2 life. End her turn. And she still keeps this minus 3,000, which is quite annoying. But Red Rock again? You know what? Fine, go ahead. I'm glad it wasn't Shanks. I'm glad it was Silver Israelis. So feel free, I don't mind. Next turn, I'm going to put that Ben Beckman. Get rid of that. And we don't really need to do that. Actually, we will. Go ahead. No blockers. Can't do anything. Then she'll attack with this. We'll just come in here, simply do that. Boom. And then I suspect she's going to put down another blocker. She wants to stay safe. You only have 2 life, so... Ooh. Surprising. Very, very surprising. Is there anything we can do here? Let's actually play out this Nami. Wow, Shanks would have been my next card. How crazy is that? That is quite crazy. We can put down another Ben Beckman, get rid of that, which is awesome. We'll keep this Divine Departure around. 7, 8, 9. Nah, it's not worth it. You know what? I do need some more cards in hand. Let's just do some more big swings here. Yep, keep countering, buddy. Reduce your hand size. This is what we want. Come in here. She only has 1 life. End our turn. And just look how effective the Animal Engine has been this entire game. Ooh, she's coming for that. Ben Beckman. I don't want Ben to survive, so I think we're gonna minus this to 8. I get 8. You got 9, 10, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. So let's just go in here, do an 8k, no blocker, play this out, boom. And then now she's kind of forced to attack with this boa, add a lot more Dawn in, because having 2 Ben Beckmans around is probably going to be bad time. Plus I get Rush Luffy next turn. You know, this is why red is so nasty. I personally don't like to play a lot of red because of how nasty and like easy it feels. But again, if you get too cocky, you're not going to have a good time. That's what she wanted to kill the Ben Beckman, use this to get rid of one of the Bens. I see your trick now. I do need some cards in hand, so I'll just simply take that. And look at that, we have the Shanks. We're going to win the game. Nothing they can really do here. GG. So just come in. First, let's get them to get rid of some stuff. You know what? If I really want to end the game, I probably shouldn't use Shanks here. I think my best bet is probably to do a lot of attack with this, and then put down the... Yeah, I think that's the way to go. If we want to win the game, this is what we have to do. 7, 8, 9, 10. Nah, I'm gonna put this guy down. Boom. Just because he's so nasty. Go in for that. Yep, and then we're just gonna simply take this boa out. This boa is too nasty to deal with. I doubt she has any more red rocks to deal with. So either you come for Shanks full blown, or you're gonna die. You have 1 life, I have 3, I have all these big bodies. So the Animal Engine is mostly for like early game to really protect you. So like I'm cool with that. You know what? We'll actually, we want to use the card actually. We'll actually take this. Boom. And luckily we still have 2 more life. They have 10 more cards. Yes, go attack. You know what? I'm gonna reduce him to 7. Yeah, let's actually do that. Use card activation on him. Get him to 7. Use this Nami. See, this is why I'm glad I used, kept my leader ability around, just because I figured something like this might be needed. And she cheesed me. She, of course, locked out my Shanks, which is more than fine. I do have this Rush Luffy that I can use, So like I'm perfectly okay with that. Cool. So we'll actually 7. Let's actually come in here first. 5. Let's do a 6K swing. Get some cards out of hand. And our goal is to end the game with Luffy here, which I think we should be able to do. Yep, 2K counter. So 7, 8, 9. Let's do a 9K swing here. She's probably going to take that. Let's see. Well, you going to take it? Tough, tough, tough. If she loses that, then we probably got game here. I don't know, I just don't think she has enough counters in hand. And she has like nothing she can block with, so... Awesome, and then we can simply just come in here, play this down, boom. Give himself a Dawn right here, he's at 9. And then the question is, and she went, boom, nothing you can do. This is why Animal Engine Shanks is so strong. It gives you relatively strong early to mid game, and Shanks really excels at late game. So then, once you've like done well, you know, early to mid, start putting on your big bodies to win.